So then if your goal is to get more matches on Tinder, this video is for you. I get 100 Tinder matches in every single city I go to. And I'm going to share with you my philosophy to online dating and Tinder. But more specifically, I'm going to share with you strategies at the end on how you can do this too. So without further ado, let's get started. First of all, I got to tell you, one, I know most guys actually don't get a lot of matches on Tinder. And it's not your fault. The algorithm is actually rigged against you. So I'm actually going to show you how you can tilt this towards you being more successful so that you can actually work on yourself. Because most guys are just not aware of some of the things that women find appealing. And once I figure this out, maybe it's because I have a sister, so I have an unfair advantage to learn what actually turns women on and what women actually find interesting. Or maybe it's because I have so many female friends, or maybe just because I've been out of dates. But I'm actually going to share with you some of the things that has helped me. I'll also tell you as a caveat, because I know that you're thinking it, is it just because I probably am ripped? That's not the only case. Yes, it does help, but I've actually tested this out with guys who actually don't have that, and it still works because the strategies are still the same. It's about psychology. The first thing is that Tinder is a visual platform. You can think of your pictures as your headlines. That's like the subject to an email. That's like the YouTube thumbnail. If the thumbnail isn't interesting, you're not going to click. So then your only goal with your first picture is to get her to tap the second picture. That's your only goal with the first picture. And so many men don't realize that men are getting swiped left 90% of the time just because they have the wrong first picture. That's it. The wrong first picture. And it's not because you're not a good guy. It's not because you are not funny. It's not because you're not educated. It's not because you're not a good catch. But your picture, the first picture that you have, it only takes less than a second for her to decide whether she's going to tap to see the next photo or more information. You only have that much of a window to get her interested. So that's the only goal of the first photo, to get her interested. Ask yourself, what are women interested in? A couple of things. Women are interested in animals. They're interested in sporty men. They're interested in a great smile. If you have that, show it off. They're interested, not if you have a great body and it's like at a gym. If you're at the beach or somewhere interesting in Cabo, in Greece, show that off. They're interesting if you have some interesting style. Don't show this if you're just dressing regular. If you have something that, let's say you're on the cover of Vogue, or, let's say you have that type of style, show that. If you have an animal or a pet, show that. If you have a nice car, show that. Women are interested in these things. You have to hack the psychology of, hey, this looks interesting, or this looks different from everybody else that I've been scrolling left on. That's your only goal, to get her to swipe right from that first photo. And if you're not mistaken, if you don't get this correctly, you have no chance. So then let's get your first photo correct. You want it to be of one of these things. Car, great car. If you have to rent it, no problem. A great view behind you. If you have a shirtless picture that's not in the gym or not at home, put that up there. Again, if it works. If you have a great smile, a really great smile, put that. If you are in a great social setting where you are in front of a crowd, you can also put that. And again, if you have an animal, put that. These things work. That's the photo. The next photo that you're going to choose is, again, it's going to be you showing yourself in a social setting. If you have all 5 of these photos, great. Show yourself in a social setting with a car, with an animal of some sort, a cute dog, a cute kitten, no problem. You're going to show yourself with friends. Don't show yourself at a party. Don't show yourself at a sports game. Show yourself outdoors, being adventurous. Some of the things that women really find attractive is men who travel, men who love the outdoors, men who are sporty, men who have hobbies like golf or horseback riding. Do those things for pictures. Remember, you're not trying to sell her on what you like. You are trying to get her interested based on what she likes. And then when you get on the date, then you can talk about what you guys both like together. But if you do go horseback riding, then put a picture up there of you going horseback riding. That's the ideal. Remember, this is like a YouTube thumbnail. The video might say, or the thumbnail might say, hey, the world is ending. And then it shows you everything that you need to do to prevent the world from ending and what you need to do, and it gives you news. But the thumbnail is actually going to get you interested, and then when you get to the video, it actually gives you what you need. You may even be questioning the thumbnail of this video. That's the idea. It gets you to watch. You need to get her to watch. The next thing, once you have the photos, remember, you don't need all 9 photos on Tinder. You only really need about 6 to 7. More than that, you're overdoing it, I think, a little bit. There's something that you should know about your photos. You need to check the background of your photos. None of your photos at all should be inside of your home. Because let's say you take a photo, but there's something there in the corner. She's going to notice and she's going to swipe left. You might not, but you need to check all your photos for this. If you are taking something outside and it's just the background, that's different. You can't control that. But if you're at home taking something for kitchen and your kitchen is not clean, it's a swipe left for me or for her. I'm hoping you understand how little of a chance you have to get this going. It's like, again, a YouTube thumbnail. Over to the description. If you are 6 feet, put your height there. It matters. I don't know why. Put it there. If you're not over 6 feet, put something addressing that your height. Put something addressing your height. You don't want to be that person that does not have the height up there because it matters. The next thing is that you want to keep it simple and mysterious. You want to be playful, not give too much information. One of the worst things I think that most men try to do is they say, looking for my queen, looking for someone to take out. Let's have pizza. Boring. Tell a joke. Be interesting. 2 truths and a lie. May have killed somebody. Went skydiving once. Almost broke my leg meeting Jimmy Fallon. Boom. Interesting. Now that's a story. You come across as different. I want to hear about that Jimmy Fallon story. I want to hear how you almost got shot by the president of Ghana. Something crazy. You have to be interesting. That is the goal of your Tinder profile, to be interesting. If you're not interesting, you're getting a swipe left, my friend. You having Call of Duty game or headset on is not interesting. That's why most men are not getting matches, because they don't understand the game. When I have a picture of my exotic car and I'm in this exotic place and I have this body and I'm overlooking the skyline, how do you think that profile is going to compare to you showing off a mirror picture, you working out in the gym and maybe doing a Coke shot of a beer in a backyard? You have no chance, my friend. And that's the point. That's why you don't get matches and why I do. Again, you need to go and get these matches. You need to go and get these pictures so that you can put them and then get matches. Here's the thing. If you have to spend money and take a weekend to actually go and get these pictures, is that not worth it to you? Because you haven't been getting matches for the past year. Now, if you spend $50 and you're going to put yourself in these different situations, maybe rent a car, go to a rooftop, have a fancy dinner, get these exotic pictures, is that not worth it to you to get these pictures? Yes, because your pictures are the #1 thing that's causing you not to get matches. I'm telling you, that's how big of an issue it is. You need great pictures, not just great quality, but you need the type of pictures that I told you about at the beginning. It needs to be interesting to her. Not to the boys, to her. I will also tell you, one of the things that people do, that men do on their Tinder profile, is that they put interests that they think that they like. Nobody cares what you like. Women aren't interested in entrepreneurship. They're not interested in crypto. They're not interested in any of that. Maybe you can put entrepreneurship or finance, but then the other 4 or 5 interests that you have up there need to be about something that you think she might be interested in. Interested in traveling. Interested in comedy. Interested in TV, movies, I don't know, something that's not what you think. You're not trying to attract men. Men are interested in entrepreneurship and business and finance. You are not. You're interested in working out. Sure, she may be cool. You can put that. You can put working out. That's no problem. But don't go ahead and put entrepreneurship, finance, crypto. That's 3 of them. Who are you trying to attract? That's for you and your bros. It sounds obvious, but this is what guys do, which is why they're not getting matches. And then you want to go ahead and put a joke in the description. Some type of joke. If it is offensive, good. No, not, I want to be careful when I say that. Because you don't want it to come off across the wrong way. But if it causes some people to be polarized, good. Good. Because you are interesting. This guy is not afraid to be canceled. This guy is not afraid to be bold, to be direct. He's not scared. He's not scared of being judged. He don't give a fuck. And that's the kind of energy that turns women on. Now, I know I talked about a lot about Tinder right now. But if you take it over to Bumble, it's the same thing. If you take it over to Hinge, it's the same thing. Because everything I talked about here isn't trying to game the algorithm. It's about psychology. It's about sales. It's about persuasion. It's about funnels. It's about understanding the client or the prospect that you're trying to get. In this case, you're trying to get a date. It's about understanding who the person you are trying to attract wants. So then if your goal is to get more matches on Tinder, this video is for you. Now, once you get onto the date, that's a whole other story. But if you want more matches, if you want more swipe rights, that's how you do it. And then, from there, you got it, champ. Good luck. Maybe I'll make another video about that and what you actually do on the dates. But keep watching here, I got you.